Our next question, directed to you, Casey, to begin. Do you believe that having experience on township boards and authorities is important before becoming a supervisor, or is it better to jump into the position cold?
It's always good to have prior experience, but when you look at the life experiences of a person, they can be added to a board or a commission. I'll give you an example. Sometimes when you look at our boards and commissions here in the township, you see the same number of people floating around from board to board. Now, we have a lot of wealth of knowledge and experience within our township from the residents, and they may not be available to participate because they weren't informed of the opportunity. So I would like to have the opportunity to serve, and I would think that having 37 years of real life experience in private industry and public service should give me some qualification to do so.
Jason, the same question.
I believe a candidate's leadership experience in all aspects of his or her life are what should be looked at as the most important facets of whether or not that person would make a good supervisor. I think that if we talk about government service being a prerequisite to further government service, I think that's a danger at all levels of government. Then all we do is perpetuate the same people in government all the time. Yes, you can learn a lot from serving in government, but at the same time you can learn a great deal by showing your leadership in all aspects of your professional life and in the community. So no, I don't believe that prior government service should ever be a prerequisite for further government service.
Thank you for that question. I believe this question to be a follow-up to the prior question, and I want to make sure that we get this one out. So this question will be directed to you first, Jason. Yes, we need to attract new businesses to the township. Lower Providence does not have any businesses to give children and families a place to play and have fun. What would you do to make this happen, i.e. roller rinks, bowling, etc.?
Sounds like a lot of fun to me. There are a lot, as we've talked about, both of us so far, there are a lot of vacancies here in Lower Providence, and that's something I'd love to see. I mentioned Trader Joe's. I don't know that that would be fun for the kids, but I would love to see something like a roller rink or a bowling alley go in a place like Gennardi's or the former Gennardi's or any of the other vacancies that we have here in the township. You see quite a few of them in areas just across our border. Arnold's gets great deal of business, and that's unfortunately right across our border. So letting the business community know that we are open to those businesses, talking to people, going out and soliciting businesses and opportunities and bringing them here into the township and showing them the wonderful facilities that we have and the many residents that live here and that pass through our community every day. And by telling them that the first people there would be the Sorgini family.
I think it's important to realize that those businesses, bowling, alleys, skating rinks, what have you, they're all independently franchised businesses. So this could be a great opportunity to let the public know that here's a space available, and maybe a group of people could come together as a business forum to take on a franchise. We should also, as supervisors, make available to them the various forms of financing that could be made available, whether it's through the private banking community or through the governmental agencies, to facilitate business development here in the township. So this will be a good opportunity, and it's funny, my son's not in the room, but he has said to me before, he said, Dad, there's a need for an area for children and young people to have fun here in the township, and he thought about the Kmart building. But I said to him, it takes a group of people who are committed, they're willing to put their finances on the line, maybe take out a second mortgage on their home to do so. So I'm all in favor of bringing more businesses that are family-oriented to Lower Providence Township.
With that most recent question in mind and those responses, it prompts the next part of the question. We'll start with you, Casey. Where do you believe is an appropriate location for adult entertainment in the township?
That should be within your home.
You talking to me or to the audience?
Well said, well said.
Well, I've always wondered about that, because when you go into any township, you seem to always find one adult entertainment business somewhere. But really, that's up to the township fathers, and for some reason, it was approved years ago. So I wasn't trying to be smart, but adult entertainment should be maintained in your household.
Thank you. And Jason, same question.
I would have to absolutely agree with KC on that.
The first part or the second part?
It belongs in your home.
All right. Thank you very much. And thank you, audience, for contributing these questions. It makes my job a little easier. Our next question, I direct this to Jason. It's a little different than we asked you before. What reason would you give if I ask you, why should I vote for you?
I believe I'm the most qualified candidate for this position, that I have the educational background and the professional experience that would make me a good supervisor. I live and I work here. I care deeply about this township, and I have nothing to personally gain by serving as a member of the Board of Supervisors. I'm not interested in securing contracts for anyone. I have no personal gain to be made serving in a position of government. I do it out of a true love for and dedication to the community that I live in and that I'm raising my family in.
Casey?
I pretty much would say the same as Jason. There is no special interest that would make me want to do this. This is a labor of love, and I have always wanted to serve my public, and I do so on whatever level that I can. So this would just be a continuation of being able to do so. And I think I bring a different set of skills to the table in the terms of the business background experience, and we've all talked about and discussed the need to bring more businesses in and to have a business development within the township. So you blend that with the educational background and hands-on experience, and I'm bringing something different to the table.
Thank you very much. You guys are getting good. You're really getting comfortable with this. I like this. It's good. The next question, KC, to start. Are you for tolls on 422? And if not, would you actively fight against them?
I'm 100% against tolls on 422, and then for those of you who received my campaign materials, that's one of the first things I have on there. I have never been for it, and I'm adamantly against it now, and I will fight tooth and nail with heart and soul to not have our tolls put on 422.
The audience is with us. Okay.
Likewise, as Casey said, if you look at my campaign literature, you would see also that I'm 100% opposed to tolls on 422, not just because it's a regressive and oppressive tax to the citizens of Lower Providence who use that thoroughfare, but also because I live on Evansburg Road. And those of you who maybe reside on any of the two-lane roads here in our community, and even in the communities that aren't two lanes, know that traffic is a major issue in this area. I've lived in my house, my wife's childhood home, for 9 years now, and I've seen the traffic increase on that road exponentially. If we toll 422, people will avoid the tolls by driving on our local roads, and that's not what Lower Providence needs.
Very good. We're going to take two more questions and see where we are on the time element. So the question is a two-part, and Jason, we'll start with you. How can you contain pension cost exposure for the township, and what departments can be privatized or right-sized for today's economic conditions?
In many ways, that goes back to some of the questions we've already answered. It's difficult to pinpoint any specific area, again, because we're dealing with people's livelihoods, but again, it's municipal oversight, looking at where we're spending money and where we can stop spending money. Government across the board at the local, state, and federal level needs to live within its means. Although everyone is entitled to a livelihood and to earn that livelihood and to work towards a pension program, we need to look at what's in the best interest of the citizens with the employees of Lower Providence Township. We need to make sure that we aren't providing a twofold pension system to our employees, that it's one or the other. And that we need to take a look at all aspects of spending in these difficult economic times.
Thank you. Casey, the same question. Would you like it repeated?
Yes.
The question is, how can you contain pension cost exposure for the township? And the second part of the question, what departments can be privatized or right-sized for today's economic conditions?
Well, going in, I think it's important for us to take a broad brush approach and look at the total operation of the township to see where our cost is. Historically, the largest cost of any business, and the township is a business, is human cost in terms of employee salary and benefits. But here again, with every employee cost and benefit, there's a family attached to that. So I'm not looking at reducing or eliminating, but I want to make sure that we have the best programs available for all of our residents. So at the end of the day, it's a win-win for everyone.
Thank you very much. And our final question before you wrap up, which will be 1 minute, and then we will take a break. I want to keep the audience involved here as well, in case you're shifting on your seat. Our final question: who should pay for curbs and sidewalk upkeep, the residents or the township? Casey?
I think that should be a township expense. You know, we're paying our property tax, we're paying our real estate taxes, and there should be a way that the upkeep of these roads should be paid for by the township. Now, I personally live on a private street, and we're responsible in our street to take care of our roads. But here again, if it's a public street, I'm thinking that the township should have a way to either be totally responsible for it, or you meet the homeowner in some percentage or pro rata basis so that that cost is shared.
Very good.
Infrastructure is essential to our community, and the elements that we're talking about are elements of infrastructure. And as Casey said, we do pay property tax, and that's something that we should receive in return is quality infrastructure. So in part, that's a township responsibility, but public-private partnerships are also very important as well as we look at the individual properties that are involved and how best to utilize our resources here in Lower Providence.
Very good. Gentlemen, we thank you for your responses and for your energy and your excitement about this, this evening and the opportunity to share with this audience. So now if you would take 60 seconds and kind of summarize your thoughts for us. Jason, you had the opportunity to open. We're going to give KC the opportunity to start with his closure.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would hope that you would give some serious consideration to allowing me to serve you on a level of being your supervisor. It's important that we have balance, and I think if you have the right team of folks that's in office, you can have that balance, you can have that experience, and the township can continue to grow. And my concern would be that we grow with a form of residential growth and also business growth. The business growth is important. It helps to take some of the tax burden off of us as residents. I'm also interested in the fact that we're not involved with recycling in terms of the recycle bank, so that we purchase our products and we should be able to get something back in return when we dispose of our trash. And if I'm elected supervisor, I will work hard to make sure that we have involvement with recycling.
Thank you very much. Jason?
Thank you all for coming out tonight. I'm blessed to be part of this process and amazed at the fact that what I once taught my students when I was a government teacher is something that I now have to be the part of an open forum such as this and to answer your questions and to get to know you and to get to know all the residents of Lower Providence. Lower Providence is a wonderful community to live and work in, and I'm looking forward to serving all of you. I serve so many of you now as your child's principal. I've served as your child's teacher and coach. I'm a member of this community. I believe that public service is the hallmark of a democratic system, and I'm looking forward to serving you as a member of the Board of Supervisors in the years to come.
Thank you. How about a round of applause? Gentlemen, thank you again for taking your valuable time this evening, and you're welcome to remain during the second half. Audience, we will now take a 3-minute break. According to my clock, it's 7:58, and we will begin at 8:01 with our school board candidates.